Last time we were doing the bodhicitta, the two methods. The first method, generally speaking, the order of the two methods is the sevenfold cause-effect method and the method of equalizing the exchanges of others. By the way, tell me, the last Friday meaning last to last Friday, how many of you were, how many of you were there during that time? How many of you were missing then? Okay, so what the one thought that came to me is that we will do the classes, Friday classes, if possible, try to finish one topic in one day, because the continuation for the follow-up, it becomes like the old Tibet House habit coming back. Okay, some of you know that, some of you may not be knowing that. So the point is, finally, always let us not forget this. Whatever we do, say when we interact with the people, okay, first let me start with something very simple, how our day-to-day interactions, so forth. Then we'll go into the plunge into the technicality. The first one is when we interact with other people. So here, except for one or two, right? Except for one or two, most of us, we are already in like maybe 30s. How many of you are in your 20s? 1, 2, 3. Okay, so the 30 plus, sometimes even 30, they are very young in their thought, right? Okay, otherwise, generally speaking, 30 plus or 40 plus, what happens is that you interact with, well, of course we have to interact with other people. Interact with the other people, we see that the plurality of the thinking patterns, plurality. You wouldn't believe the diversity of the thinking pattern. Some people, they understand, they have such a good understanding. Some, they're very stubborn. Some, they want, what I like, that is the best, you have to do this. Some, no. So, very open and profound understanding, and some are more who want to do things little step by step, taking time. Others very fast and making so many mistakes, and some very fast and very effective, least mistakes, right? So we see that this is amazing. Okay, and some by birth, very compassionate, amazingly compassionate, amazing compassionate. Some of you might have watched that one clip where I think it was in Islamic country, where a young boy, very young boy, maybe aged like 5 or 6, and the father was about to there were two actually, one, the father, and another clip, which the mother was about to cut a chicken, and live the chicken alive. And the child was crying, right? So, in the Islamic nation, killing a chicken is just nothing. It's like the cutting potato. So this thinking of compassion, this young boy displayed is amazing. It's amazing. Whereas some children, they're so keen on cutting and killing like this. Just look at the world. It's diverse. Okay. Because of this, even the audience to whom, say, somebody is to deliver a talk, Even the audience is diverse, right? Some, if you say that, okay, be compassionate, some will say that, but who will benefit me, right? Amongst the audience. And then say, no, take care of yourself, take care of yourself. It has no talk of compassion. Some will say like this. Because some are inclined towards compassion, some are inclined more towards the self. So this is the diversity. So now the point is, whichever group you may belong to, this is so important. Don't forget this. Whether you are very compassionate by birth, or compassionate by inheritance from your parents, or okay, who cares about others? First I have to take care of myself. There's nothing wrong in that. So what I would suggest is this is so important. Don't forget the two main agendas of your life, right? See, even though you may not agree with me now, but the point is, see if you agree with these two things eventually. But at least don't scrap these two agendas for the time being. Just keep them in your mind. You may not agree. It doesn't matter. Just keep them. And later on, as we study more, then we should be able to get go back to these two agendas. You will see how amazing it is that these two agendas hold true for all categories of people. Whether you are a very compassionate person or whether you are more inclined towards the self, in both cases, these two agendas follow perfectly. So the two agendas. One, be kind to yourself. Number two, be wisely kind to yourself. Okay, these two agendas. On this basis, what I'd like to share with you here is that the next question is how to be wisely kind to ourselves. How to be wisely kind to myself, this question, right? Let us not start with compassion. Then we'll come to realize that finally it is a practice of compassion, it's a practice of wisdom. Wisdom and a compassion, that these two will make you extract the greatest meaning out of your life and see that, oh, now this is the meaning. To be wisely kind towards myself is by embracing the wisdom and by embracing compassion. For example, let's say His Holiness the Dalai Lama, when he was giving a public talk in Delhi University, I think in 2008 or 9. So there, a question was asked to His Holiness in the end of the talk, public talk. A girl asked a question, what's the purpose of what's the meaning of life? And His Holiness said that we live on hope, and we hope for happiness. So therefore, the meaning of life is genuine happiness. Okay, with this in mind, this happiness that we seek is a goal. And then now, let us be very rational, let us be very realistic and rational. To achieve a goal, do you agree with me? To achieve a goal, particularly a noble goal, we need two things. One is, we need to see what the goal is. We need to know what the goal is. Do you agree with me? We need to have the wisdom to know what the goal is. Say, for example, say you see that somebody is a PhD in physics, and you say, and then everybody is respecting this person, and you don't know what physics is, you don't know what PhD is, and then they say, oh, what is your qualification? My qualification is BA. What is your qualification? My qualification is PhD, and everybody is so respectful to this person. Then this young child, what do you want to do in the future? I want to become the PhD in physics, because the young boy does not know, the young girl does not know what physics is, what PhD is, but because seeing that this person is respected so much because he or she finished PhD in physics. So therefore, child wants to do that. But in order for this child to become a PhD physics PhD holder, this child must know what is physics, what is PhD. So this knowledge must be there in order to achieve that. You agree with me now? Good. So this knowledge must be there. This is wisdom. This wisdom will give you a sense of direction. Once the direction is once you find the direction with the wisdom, the next is there should be the driving force. Okay, now I know what physics is. Well, now I know what PhD is. Okay, now I have to do the physics honors, BSc. I have to start from the class 12. And then in the college, you always end up in pubs. You're never in the laboratory. You are never in the library. You're always in the pubs, right? So what is missing? This boy or the girl cannot become a world-renowned physics professor. So what is missing? Knowledge is there. The direction is there. The person knows so well where to go, what to do. Know so well. But what's missing? Enthusiasm is missing. So the driving force is missing, which pushes you along the drive as per the direction. That driving force is missing. What is that driving force? Enthusiasm. I have to do it no matter what, right? Okay, the pubs and one-day class. One-day class is more important. Pubs and the laboratory. Just be around. Or there's a talk by Albert Einstein. I should go there rather than going to the pubs, right? So this kind of enthusiasm required. So with these two things intact, with a very clear direction, the wisdom of physics, a very brilliant child, and this tremendous enthusiasm, no doubt, you may not be a Nobel Peace Prize in physics, prize winner in physics, but no doubt you're going to become a great, great physicist, right? So to acquire any goal, there must be these two things are something which is commonly required for any goal. The wisdom to give you the direction and the sense of the enthusiasm, to give you the driving force. So these two are required. Okay, now as per what the wisdom is, this wisdom is the wisdom to awaken yourself, to wake up from the dream of ignorance. So this wisdom, the wisdom of emptiness, which we have to study separately, which is so important. And if you get a flavor of this, if you get a flavor of what this wisdom is like, right? It's just amazing. You get such a freedom. You get a feeling of freedom. Wow, it's amazing. Now I realize what life is, right? With anything, with the mundane, the goals, and with the super mundane goal, anything. Even somebody is discussing somebody in the Himalayas, living there for like years and years. You converse with this person, you will clearly know what level of direction this person has acquired. If you have a tinge of the experience of emptiness, right? And then you talk to the professors, you talk to the CEOs, you talk to the artists, right? You know where their thinking is. Okay, this is amazing. It gives such a freedom for you. One. So that part requires, I would say that those who are interested in this part, this is amazing. It's like waking up from the dream of ignorance, right? When you have woken up from the dream of ignorance, you will realize that there are some people who are going towards the waking up. Some people who are deeply sucked in the dream, right? And then in the dream, they're obsessed with the nice dreams. And some being tortured by the bad dreams. You see, the moment you're woken up, you can see who are the ones who are sucked in the dream of the nightmares, and then who are sucked in the dream of the chasing after the niceties, which actually it is nothing really there, your mind is deceiving you, right? Okay, so these are the things, that is the wisdom part, it's amazing. One, so now the second part that we're doing here is the enthusiasm. So for the enthusiasm meaning that I must acquire that goal. What is that goal? Okay, the goal, which we discussed earlier, I think the earlier session. early 2 sessions, I think, or 1 session. So there, the goal is that to discover ultimate treasure happiness within yourself, right? Say somebody is every day enjoying, what we call is enjoying, say, the time in 5-star hotel, or somebody is, say, in the streets, homeless streets, right? And somebody is in the pubs, somebody is just in the ordinary family like this. Okay, who is really happy? Who's really happy? So Bodhisattva, the Arideva, what he said was that the poor are tormented by the physical pains, such as hunger. The rich are tormented by the mental pains. In short, everyone is tortured by some form of the pains, right? Okay, now with this we see that in actuality, unless we do something, the amount of the pain that we're going through, this is just acute. Now the point is that this pain can be got rid of. This ultimate happiness that we are seeking is actually nowhere outside. Nowhere outside. Okay, this is very interesting. In fact, when I was very young, because of the family problem, not really problems as such, because of more like the stricken with the very young, full of energy there, and in the school, and the food and these things, not as very rich, right? So there, I remember. So once the menu was changed a little bit. And the food was what? Potatoes, and the omelette cut into pieces, and one child may get 2 or 3 small pieces, right? Put into the potato in the water, soupy potato, right? And a little bit of oil. I ate that. It was just a nectar. I could not believe it. I was so fascinated. It was like a nectar. Then I thought, you won't believe what thought came to me? Yes. When I grow older, this is the food that I have to eat every day. That was the thought that came to me. Right? Now, eating the same thing, no taste. No taste. Only if I'm very hungry, it's fine. Otherwise, no taste. It's just like any other food. So the point is that when you don't have anything to eat, your taste bud is so powerful. When you have so many things to eat, your taste bud is so weak. You go to fast hotel, still the food is nothing. Right? So those who weak, the poor, taste buds is so good, but they don't have food to eat. And the rich, there's so much of food, but the taste buds is just so weak. You can taste anything. In other words, the same. Both the same. Superficially, one has many, one has nothing. But in terms of the actual experience, it's the same. Right? This is reality. This is what my observation. Now see how true that is. Right? In a case. Okay, I don't want to digress too much. Now the point is, where lies the ultimate truth, the ultimate source of happiness? It is nowhere outside. It is inside. And that, don't believe in it. You must gain conviction in this, that this is the reality. This is what we must gain conviction. So that, I'm not going to go into detail. So I think I did it. And if you're interested to know more about this, how can I be convinced that the true happiness, source of happiness within me, how can I know this? Okay, so the very simple example which I oftentimes give is the gold mixed with soil. When I extract gold from the gold ore, gold mixed with the soil, what comes out is the gold ore, which is nothing but the gold mixed with soil. In the eyes of ordinary people, we don't see the gold, we don't see gold there. We just see soil there. We may discard this. But in the eyes of the expert, this is not his ordinary soil. There's a gold there. How do we know this? He will remove the soil, right? Soil. The more the soil is removed, the more the gold inside will glow, right? The more we remove the metal dirts, the more the true nature of the mind, the ultimate treasure happiness will start to glow. Okay, I don't want to go into this in great detail now. Now the next point is, to make this glow fully, we have to remove the dirt fully, right? To remove the dirt fully, where you reach a state where the true nature of the mind inside, where the dirts are removed fully and the true nature of the mind comes out fully, that is your goal. That should be known through the wisdom. Only with the wisdom you will realize that, wow, there's such a goal there. I don't look for happiness outside. There is inside me. So now the goal becomes very clear. One, I remember a story shared by Ajirji. The story was that Alexander the Great, before he died, he almost conquered the world, and therefore he was known as the Alexander the Great, right? He almost conquered the world, meaning that materially he had everything. Was he really happy? So let us see what he said before he died. Before he died, he went into the what do you call it, Ajirji? The treasure house. He went into the treasure house. Look at each of the treasure which he got from the other parts of the world. Just touching them. Okay, finished. He went back, then told his ministers, when I die, put my body in such a way, in the coffin, that my two hands are kept like this, where the two hands spread like this. Indicate the two palms are spread like this, indicating that even the greatest of the kings, greatest of the king of the world had to go empty-handed. Okay, so this tells us that material things, right, external things, looking for happiness, looking for ultimate happiness outside, this is illusion, which is very clearly demonstrated by Alexander the Great, right? Now, whereas if you put a little bit of effort, you don't have to risk your life, right? To conquer the world, you have to risk your life. But to conquer inside, you don't have to risk your life, right? Exploring inside, we see that removing the dirts, the happiness, the treasure happiness starts to glow. You could feel it. It's amazing. Okay, now when the dirts are removed fully and the treasure inside glows fully, that is the ultimate thing that you are seeking. Be kind to yourself, meaning, in what we do, be kind. That give yourself what you want. What do you want? I want the maximum happiness. Now you're getting it. This is how you're being kind to yourself. Be wisely kind to yourself. Not only that you give happiness, you have given the maximum by being so wisely embracing the actual method to acquire this goal. So be wisely kind to yourself. Okay, with this, the point is that you need to know that the true source of happiness which I'm seeking is not outside, it is inside. One, so that is known through the wisdom. So in Buddhism, there's a tremendous emphasis on activating your wisdom. Wisdom to knowledge. One. Now with this wisdom, the next part is the enthusiasm. I must achieve that goal. I must achieve the goal. That enthusiasm. Not like somebody who says that, what is your career? What do you like? What is your aim? What do you like to become after completing your studies? I want to become the professor in physics, right? Professor in arts or whatever. And then what do you actually do in the class or during the college times? You always end up in the pub. Impossible. You may be seeing the goal. You may have the wisdom to see the goal, but you don't have the enthusiasm. The driving force is missing. So what is this driving force? This driving force is what? Say, this driving force we have to see on the basis of the goal. The goal is what? Where your mind becomes like a sun, not affected by any mental stain. All stains are removed. All stains are removed, your mind becomes like a sun. Sun which has the capacity to reach out to every atom of the universe. So every atom in the universe, all these atoms in the universe, they symbolize the sentient beings. So this sun, just as the sun reaches out to every atom in the universe, so when this true nature of happiness, when it comes out fully, it reaches out to all sentient beings. Tell me, how do you reach out to all sentient beings? How do you reach out to all sentient beings? Right? What is that quality which makes you to reach out to all sentient beings? Let's say, who is the one who reaches out to others more? For example, say the Hitler on the one hand, then His Holiness the Dalai Lama on the other hand. If you are to look, compare the two, who is the one who is reaching out to others? Anyone, very quickly. His Holiness. How? What is that quality within him which is lacking in Hitler, which he has, that makes him to reach out to others? What is that quality? Compassion. Okay, so compassion is one which makes you to reach out to others. So this sun has two qualities. The sun illuminates every atom by dispelling the darkness. Dispelling the darkness is what? The wisdom. Dispelling the darkness of ignorance is the light of the wisdom. The sun has the quality of the wisdom. Number two, that it is not biased to only few atoms. It just spreads out to every atom of the universe. So that is the unconditional love, reaching out to every atom. Right? So this is the quality of the love. So for each one of us, in order to activate this true nature of the happiness within yourself, we need to have the wisdom. The wisdom, like the sun, a very bright wisdom, and the unconditional love to embrace all other beings. Okay, the next question. Practice love, practice compassion. Don't be selfish, right? So when you come across such situation, be kind towards others. Okay, it is easy to say these things, but the question is, how? How can I do it? You're getting it? Oh no, you have to do it, right? Practice it, try it. I tried it, but my mind always, no, should I give this biscuit to the biscuit to that person? Or I'm hungry, this is what? The sandwich, should I give it to someone else or I eat it? No, I tried it, but I can't really let it go. No, try it. This is not the way. You're getting it? This is not the way. Simply by forcing somebody, try it. Well, this is not the way. Oftentimes, what we do is that we always tell people, no, be kind towards others, be nice. But the thing is, how to be nice? I tried, but it's not coming. When this question is asked, then answer is missing. So therefore, we should be very realistic. We should be very objective, very realistic, and very rational. In fact, we must gain a conviction that I have to give my love and affection towards others. We must gain this conviction. If you don't gain this conviction, no matter who tells you, your mind will not go out. Your mind will not spread to others. No matter who tells you. For example, when the Buddha comes in the living form and tells you, you should be compassionate, you cannot do it. If you don't gain the conviction, even His Holiness comes, right, and tells you, you should be compassionate, you cannot do it if you don't get the conviction. Because you are bound to confront with difficulties and challenges. Under such situation, the question arises, okay, now there's no way. I've not learned how, right? So the point is, how can I reach out to all beings? Okay. So for that matter, the Nalanda tradition provides two main methods to gain conviction that yes, I can spread my love and affection towards all unconditionally, right? Okay, there are two methods. So the point is that first we have to gain conviction in this, and no doubt you're bound to have your questions. Say in the end, if we have little time, then we will go through the question and answers as well, right? So the point is, I should finish the first method, at least the first method, within this session. Otherwise, the next time again, new faces will come. Again, I have to speak about the Buddha nature. I will speak about the method and the enthusiasm, right? Okay, so I have to finish this right here. Okay, so usually I don't tell the page number where these steps are. Usually I don't, but today I have to do it because we don't have time. Okay, which page number is that? 301. Okay, let us turn to page 301. All the steps are given there. Usually I don't, although the steps are given there, but I don't indicate the page number because your mind will be more observant, more the part of the grabbing, right? Will be more if I orally tell this and you listen to this. So that way the benefit is much more. But at the moment there is no choice due to lack of time. Okay, so we see that methods to cultivate bodhicitta. Bodhicitta means, okay, in a very simple term, simple sense, bodhi means awakening. Bodhi means awakening of your true nature, of the ultimate treasure. Awakening of your ultimate treasure, happiness. Bodhi. Chit is the mind. The mind which aspires to achieve this awakening. The mind which aspires to achieve this ultimate happiness. This is the meaning of bodhicitta. Okay, so there we see that there are two main methods. The first one is known as sevenfold cause-effect method, and number two is equalizing and exchanging self for others. And the third one is a synthesized version. If you know the first and second, then you will know the third one very easily. So what we're going to do here is the second one first. Today we'll do the second method first, right? Equalizing and exchanging self for others. Okay. So there we see that it has 9 steps. If possible, all these 9 steps must be on our fingertips. Okay. First, what we do is, what is the first method? What is the first step within the second method? Equalizing 7 others. Equalizing 7 others, right? Okay. So let's say equalizing 7 others. We need to have the 9 points on our fingertips. And then with our reflection meditation, we should be able to go through each of the points, and see whether your mind agrees. To see whether your mind agrees with each of the points. If you agree, conviction will arise in you. Yes, that even for my own selfish interest, even for my own selfish benefit, the wisest thing to do is to cherish others, right? This is how we have to proceed. But before we proceed to that point at the moment, what we have to ask is just tell your mind, right? Speak to yourself and ask yourself, imagine that if you are standing outside and the temperature is 29 degrees centigrade and you are standing outside and a little hot, you are thirsty, 10% thirsty, right? And there are many others also around you who are also thirsty. And somebody tells you, okay, unfortunately, I've only one glass of water. Who likes to have it? What is your answer? Tell me, very quick. What is the answer? I will have it. But you are thirsty only 10%. 90% you are not thirsty. The pain of thirst is just 10%. And the other person says, okay, I'm thirsty. Okay, give it to him. Right? Okay, if your thirst is, pain of thirst 10%. And if the pain of your thirst is 50%, so the temperature is now 39, right? Temperature is 40. 40, you are standing outside. You are standing outside for what? For what purpose? I don't know. Huh?
For iPhone 6 Plus.
Not nowadays, right? Okay, iPhone 6 Plus is gone. Okay, let's say you're waiting outside. You're waiting outside, and then under 40 degrees centigrade, and your degree of the thirst is, the pain of the thirst is, say the 70%. Okay, who likes to drink the water? What is the answer? I like to drink it, right? And somebody says, then, oh, I like to drink it. Would you say, please give it to her, give it to him? Would you say this? Very likely not. Now, what determines degree of your compassion? If your compassion degree is 72 and the thirst is 70, so your compassion is more than the pain. So you will say, okay, give it to her, right? So your compassion degree is 72, which is very high. According to the conventional standard, is very high degree, 72%. Now, next scenario is that temperature is 46 degrees centigrade, right? And your thirst is, the pain of thirst is 98%. Okay, who likes to drink the water? What's the answer? I will have it while, right? And somebody says, no, I will have it. Then you will say no. Then you start fighting. Okay, she came up with water. Okay. Thank you. Okay, now, so there, when the pain exceeds the degree of compassion, then you will say that, no, I want to drink it. Why you? What is the answer? Why should I give it to you? There's only one glass of water. Why only two? There are other people there. Your answer is what? I am thirsty. Then my second question is, others are also thirsty? What is your answer? Yes. Then why you? What is the answer? There is no logical answer left. Only answer that you can give is, you may not give. Mentally you think, I am more important than others. And the others will say, I know, I am more important than you. So there's a fight happening. You're getting it? So logically, there is no sound basis left for you to get the water. In other words, what are you saying? What is this? What's the conclusion? The conclusion is that you and others are equal in wanting happiness and not wanting suffering. Do you agree with me?
Yes.
Okay, you may not experientially, the self-centered attitude, our self-centered attitude may not agree with this, but logically, do you agree with me? That we are all equal in wanting happiness and not wanting suffering. And the fact that I'm looking for food, I'm looking for water, I'm looking for shelter, this is because of what? Because I want happiness, I don't want suffering. This is what makes me to move. And everybody is made to move. So with this respect, what is the driving force? Desire for happiness and shunning miseries. That driving force is same for everyone, you or others. So from that point, we are all equal in wanting happiness and not wanting suffering. So this will, right? So you think like this, what happens? There's an internal clash happening. Superficially, we are learning something new. We're saying that you and others are equal in wanting happiness, not wanting. By no means you are special. By no means you are special. We are all equal. And deep inside, you say that I am special. I am special. There's a clash happening. So with the practice, gaining conviction that logically there's no basis on what makes me special. We are all just equal. So you practice that, and then it's very strange. The more we think that I'm more important than others, the more we go through miseries. It's very strange. The more we realize that we are equal, right? We're equal. The more we realize that, okay, this water, we're all very acutely paining, because of pain of thirst. What are you doing? We're equal. I learned it from Tibet House. We're all equal. Right? Oh, give it to her, give it to him. Like, this is fine. We're all equal. That when that thought really comes in you, the pain, unhappiness, irritation cools down. It's amazing. Right? And finally, why do we go for water? So that my irritation, my unhappiness, they won't cool down. The real cooling effect comes around is experienced when the self-centered attitude is toned down. Right? When you see the first step, equalizing self and others. This is amazing. Okay, so actually we have to speak more on this, but to be able to finish everything, all the 9 steps. What's the second step?
Demerits of cherishing.
Reflecting on the demerits of cherishing oneself, right? Okay, now this is something which we really have to reflect on, right? Okay, somebody who is, for example, let's say, if you are given a choice, right? Say, you want to become, say I'll give you 2 choices. In both cases, you become very popular. You want to become like His Holiness the Dalai Lama, or you want to become like, say, the Hitler. What do you want to become? For your own happiness. For your own happiness. No, we are not talking about world peace. Like, for your own happiness. Which of the 2 do you want to become like? Naturally, when our mind is at peace, when our mind is at peace, our mind is operating, in its full form. When our mind is not at peace, then it can take very extreme measures. So naturally, we want to become someone like His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Why? Because we see that he cherishes what makes him very special. Because he cherishes others more than himself, right? Whereas all these say the terrorism and the tyranny and the dictatorship, they're all because of this self-centered attitude. Do you agree with me or not? Self-centered attitude. And they dare, right? Then we have to risk one's own life. More enemies are there, right? You have to risk your life. Okay, there's a tremendous degree of unhappiness. Okay, so this is because of the reflection on the demerits of cherishing oneself. And then on top of that, say in your own workplace, just look at 2 persons who are equally smart, street smart, who are equally street smart, right? And one is more compassionate, and one is very selfish. Who's more happy? Just tell me. One is more compassionate. But of course, some people who are more compassionate cannot be at all street smart. You're getting it? So what I'm saying, with the qualification that both are equally very smart, equally having a speech, being very smart in terms of the mundane engagements, public relations, so forth, but one is more compassionate and the other one is very selfish. Who's more happy? Tell me. The one who's more compassionate and selfish. I want all people to be my friend, not his friend or her friend. I want everybody to be my friend. This is being very selfish. In actuality, people will not become your friends. right? Oh, he wants more people to be his friends. She wants more people to be her friends. Okay, please, you do like this, everybody will come towards you, not to the other person. You're getting it? So what we want is we want happiness. In actuality, this selfishness is the one which pushes away your happiness. Just explore this. It does not require any philosophy. This is the reality. And it doesn't matter what religion that you're following. Whether you believe in religion or not, it doesn't matter. The fact is that who is more compassionate, with the same degree of qualification of the smartness, who is more compassionate, the person is happier. Don't forget it. This is so important. Number two. And these, we must gain conviction. If you don't get the conviction, simply by intellectually say yes, 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 it doesn't help. You have to say yes with the conviction. Right? Okay. The next. What is the next? Point number 3. Reflecting on the merits of cherishing others. Reflecting on the merits of cherishing others. Okay. What I would say is that you may not actually put them into practice now. You may not put them into practice now. Simply learn these things. Learn these things and see whether it makes sense to you. Even whether you're convinced or not, it doesn't matter. Whether conviction, you're fully convinced or not, it doesn't matter. Just see whether it makes sense. Once you realize that it makes sense, all these 9 steps, then try to put one step at a time. Right? And then go to the second step. Even the second step, don't go for 100% of the second step. You go for the 10% of the second step. The 15% of the second step. Like this. Right? You will see the wonder in your life. You will see the wonder. Right? Okay. Well, number 3. Reflecting on the merits of cherishing others. Right? Okay. So where, of course, knowledge part is very important. Don't forget it. Knowledge part, the wisdom part. This is so important, right? With the wisdom part intact, the more compassionate you are, more compassionate you are, more the people will like you. The more the people like you, less mentally disturbed you are. Your mental disturbance will go away. You become very peaceful, right? Okay. So the more we think like this, you look around. You look around. Of course, it is difficult to see people who are very wise and also very compassionate. It's difficult to see. But they are. It's not non-existent. Even in your own workplace, you'll find people, right? It is not that all are completely the hopelessly selfish person. No. Some people, they may be, say, the other cherishing mind, 10%, in other way, self-centered, 90%, others, self-centered, 50%, other cherishing, 50%, and still others, maybe very few though, other cherishing, 70%, self-centered, 30%, right? We do find such people. We do find such people. In my life, I was observing for these people. I'm really looking for these people. I'm amazed that I have actually seen such people, but very rare though, very rare. Amazingly sophisticated compassion. You won't believe. Very rare though, right? Under a given situation where the person can become arrogant, right? The same situation, I would say, okay, now this person is in this situation, the person must be a little arrogant. When you actually meet with the person, it's very different. Amazingly down to earth, very smart, but amazingly down to earth, and the compassion is extremely nuanced, sophisticated, subtle, amazing. But it's very rare. It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean that it's non-existent. It is there. So our job is just see if you can find such people in your life. Out of maybe 1,000 people or 2,000 people, you may find one person. Right? Okay. Which means that it is possible. If you put effort, it is possible. Right? Okay. So with this, we have to reflect more on these points. Number 3. What is number 4? What is number 4? Okay, it is in the book. What is in the book? Taking the suffering for others with an emphasis on compassion. Taking the suffering for others, on yourself, with emphasis on the practice of compassion. Right? Okay. So here what we do is that now, the point 1 through point 1 to 3, through point 1 to 3, we gain some conviction that yes, self-centered attitude actually is destroying me. Other cherished mind is actually helping me, right? So now I have to actually do it. For example, say, what should we do? How many of you have practiced harmonium? 1. How many practice piano? 1, 2, 3. No one. Okay, others? Anyone who practice other musical instruments? Okay, 1. Okay. Yes, very good. Okay. Musical instrument. Same. Okay, what musical instrument you practiced? Huh? Okay. The girl over there, your name? Your name? Huh? Divya. Harmonium. Okay. Anyone else? Gentleman over here? You practice? What? Guitar. Okay, let's say guitar. Pushkarji? No? Harmonium. Okay, let's say harmonium and guitar. Let's say. And Badriji? Guitar. Okay, let's say harmonium and guitar. Girls, harmonium, and the boys, guitar. Okay, let's say harmonium and guitar, right? Say we have never touched guitar, we have never touched harmonium. Right? We have never touched harmonium and guitar. Okay, I'm giving you the lesson on harmonium, how to play harmonium guitar. Okay, the harmonium, the key, right? What do you call it? The keys. Okay, key 1 is for do, re, mi, la, right? Okay, these notes. Then the guitar, the first string is for this note, second string is for this. Within the first string, you press this finger like this, then this note. You press the second one, this note. Okay, right? Every day I give this lesson, but I never give you the guitar in your hand. I never give harmonium in your hand. Okay, after 10 years of this lesson, do you think that you're going to become expert in harmonium guitar? Impossible, right? You may have all the notes, just somebody says, do, re, right? You have to, yes, this part, and then somebody who actually practiced it for 1 week, and you learn this for 10 years, right? And then the person gives you guitar now and harmonium now, and the other person who learned it just for 1 week, practice for 1 week, guitar and harmonium, who can play better? The 1 week person. Why? Because of the exercise, because of the practice. You're getting it? So the practice is so important. For that matter, step number 4 and 5. Step number 4 and 5, these two are the actual practice. Actual practice. With the step number 1 to 3, you got the intellectual understanding. Step number 4 and 5, you get the practice is in the laboratory. Right? Step number 4 and 5, in total, these two steps combined together is known as the practice of Tonglen. Tong means to give your happiness, Len is to take the suffering of others. Practice of Tonglen. This is considered, is very popular in Tibet and amongst the Tibetan practitioners. Okay. Okay, I don't want to go too much into this part. I will simply explain what these two steps are. Number 4, taking the suffering of others with emphasis on compassion. Right? Okay, with the emphasis on compassion. Okay, if you want to add, great, add it, it's fine. There's no harm in it. Okay, the practice of taking suffering with emphasis on compassion. So what we do is that, okay, in your meditation, you just breathe in. Breathe in. As you breathe in, As you breathe in, imagine that you are taking the suffering of others. Taking the suffering of others, and this suffering, they manifest in the form of very dirty water, black soot, and if you can be creative, you can visualize them in the form of crabs, in the form of scorpions, in the form of snakes and so forth, and then suck them through your, as you breathe in, suck them through your left nostril. And then imagine that the scorpions, snakes, they all go into your body through your left nostril, and then they go inside, and inside at the heart, the self-centered attitude is just sitting in such a relaxed way. And suddenly the scorpions, they come to eat that up, right? Imagine that they are really eating, literally they're eating, the snakes they're eating, right? Okay, so if you do find that a feeling of fear like this, which means that the practice is having effect on you, right? It is having an effect on you. This is a very good indication. Okay, that we have to take. And the suffering that you visualize, for example, the people in the hospitals, in the hospices, in the hands of the terrorists, the victims in the hands of the terrorists, and the poor animals in the hotels, five-star hotels, all these sea animals who are on the verge to die. So just think of the pain that they're going through. Just imagine that you are just sucking all these like the torrents of gushing waters, gushing through your left nostril in the form of very dirty water, the black soot, scorpions, snakes and so forth, okay, through your left nostril, and then actually literally they enter into you, they just eat up your, say, the heart, your self-centered attitude, and then they just go down your body, that they just go underneath the ground. Okay, that we do it 3 times, right? Okay, now of course, otherwise we could have really gone into more the detail, the suffering that you take. You have to be very specialized in what sufferings that you take. Suffering is of 3 kinds. I'm not going to go into detail, right? But for the diploma course, how many of you are part of the diploma course? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, okay. Okay, what I would suggest is that these concepts, if you're really interested, I would suggest you to join the diploma course. Now, this would be very helpful because all these concepts are going to be explained in great detail. Okay, diploma course, and if you want to join diploma course, we have the organizer, the coordinator down there. Tensuku-sama, raise your hands. Yes, Tensuku-sama will give you all the information. Okay, good. Now with this, say the detail of what sufferings to take, right? So as we take these things, what happens? The self-centered attitude, this is being attacked. This is being attacked. And what's the indication? You feel scared, you feel like there's a jerk of the fear, these things happen. It's an amazing practice happening. Wonderful. Step number 5. The practice of giving happiness to others with emphasis on loving kindness. The practice of giving happiness with the emphasis on loving kindness. This is amazing. So what we do is, again, as we breathe out, here when you breathe in, it's fine, take it just naturally. And then when you breathe out, imagine that you're giving all your virtues, all your happiness, all the wealth, all the, say, the resources, all your good health, your longevity, everything good that you have, and the virtues, you send them in the form of white nectars and the white lights through your right nostril as you breathe out. As you go out, imagine that it spreads across all sentient beings. Now, the moment these nectar and the lights, they touch the beings and the bodies, they transform into the material resources, into, say, the longevity who are sick, Their health is restored, who are going through the last stages in the hospices, the longevity is the given, and so like this, we just, the give whatever others require. So now again here, when you give to these, say whatever good thing that you give, when you give this to others, again, what do you give? Give is a charity. Give is a generosity. And the generosity, there are 4 kinds of generosity. Again, I'm not going to go into detail. I'll just specify what the 4 generosities are. The first one is generosity of material resources. Right? We think that generosity, okay, I'm not really rich, so therefore I can't really practice this. This is not true. Generosity is not just confined to generosity of material resources. There are 4 kinds of generosities. 1, generosity of material resources. Number 2, generosity of love and affection. Number 3, generosity of giving protection to life, giving protection to others' life. Number 3. Then number 4, generosity of dharma, generosity of giving guidance, generosity of giving guidance. Okay, of the four, depending on the situation, overall speaking, generally speaking, the 4th one is the most sophisticated generosity. It is not necessary that you have to engage in material, the giving material resources. Of the 4, the 4th one is the supreme, because it is like, say, somebody is the materially very poor, and then you always come to give food. Every day you come to give food. Every day you come to give food. Is this a good practice or not? Of course, it's very kind, but why not? Instead of you coming to give food every day for the next 10 years, instead of that, for 1 week, teach the child, give the child a skill, how to make money, how to be self-sustained, right? Give the skill, teach the skill, right? This is far better than giving food for 10 years. Because with this skill, the child can live for the next 70 years. 70 years very successfully. Because when you are sick, nobody is coming to give the food. Child will remain hungry. But if you teach the skill, whether you are sick, whether you're alive, whether you're not alive, whether you're healthy, it doesn't matter. Child will continue to get food for the next 70 years. So this is giving the skill. Giving skill is what? Giving guidance, how to make money, how to sustain yourself. So, of the 4 generosities, the 4th one is considered as the most precious. Right? Okay. So, as we breathe out first, imagine that all the nectar and the light going out from your right nostril, they change into material resources. And those who are suffering from material poverty, they get all the material resources. For example, somebody who just wanted food, these nectars, they change into the food, they get the food, like this. This is how we do visualize. Then likewise the medical aid, then the material things like the finance, housing, and so forth. Then the second one is the generosity of what? Love and affection. So imagine that there are so many people who are going through depression, and many children, young children, who do not get love and affection from the parents. At a very early age, they are separate from the parents. Either parents died, so forth. They are really deprived of the love and affection. Okay, say this is my personal experience. My brother's 2 children. My brother lives in Nepal. And my brother's 2 children, they live in Dharamsala. Live in meaning the school in Himachal, India. So my mind, psychologically, my mind goes down when the children were in the school. Because for them, the person who can give the maximum love to them are their parents. And parents are very far away. And the same parents have health issues because they cannot travel. So the children, and of course they are very lucky as compared to many other children. You know, and my sister is also there. My sister is there in school, so my sister takes good care of them. But still, for them, the parents is the God, right? This is how we, each one of us, most of us, we have the experience. So then, as the school holiday starts, the school annual holiday starts, I think December 14th. Now, as the time approaches, closer to December 14th, my mind is soaring with happiness. Now they're going to meet with their parents, right? So this is where the children, everyone, we all crave for, love and affection from someone. Particularly youngsters, very young children, they crave for love and affection from someone. Right? This is so important. So therefore, if somebody feels so demoralized, a little bit of, say, the depression and so forth, just go sit there, be skilled, right? Be skilled. What's your problem? Oh, I'm going through a little low nowadays. What's this? Your mental thinking. Like this, it can make the depression worse. Right? You go there to help, you are harming. Right? We should be really skilled. Just give love and affection. Don't talk about the depression at all in the first place. And how are you doing? Okay, I'm also going through some, problems here. But life is like this, So like this. Okay, do you care for some a cup of tea? Just distract, right? Distract. No, don't at all touch anything about that area for for the time being, right? Just treat the other person as so like perfectly normal, not at all in depression, right? Right? Okay, like this. And then when the other person shows some depression signs there, so just ignore. Just treat them as very normal, like this. If it's going too extreme, right, then you have to take the person to psychiatrist, whatever. Otherwise, if it's not too extreme, then treat very normally, the person will be, half of the problem will be gone. The moment you give love and affection. The moment you listen to the other person, what the other person has to say, listen with attention. That is good enough to heal half of the problem, right? This is so precious, so precious. With this, okay, say, judging other people on the basis of, say, the material, financial status, social status, education status, and so forth. This is very, very pathetic. This is where the element of love and affection is gone. Right? So, the genuine expression of love and affection should not know, right, what social status the other person is. If the other person is socially recognized, okay, don't worry. When the other person is not socially recognized, you don't care who you are. When the other person is the healthy, or when they're physically healthy, or the materially well off, then you talk, okay, no problem, don't worry, problem will be over. Or somebody's material so weak, you don't, who cares? This is not the genuine love and affection. Right? Genuine love and affection, it doesn't matter, other person can be very rich, it can be very poor, the person can be very poor. Person can be socially highly, say, respected, and socially not respected. It doesn't matter. You should not be looking at that area. You should be looking at the other person, that person suffering. I don't want suffering. Other person also doesn't want suffering. Then you give this love and affection. That is so precious, perhaps more precious than giving material resources. Okay, number 2. This is so precious. Number two. So for that, we don't really need to have material resources. Even without that, you can actually heal the problems of others. This is so precious. This is the benchmark. This is the fabric. This is the ground of the Buddha's teachings. The Buddha said, no matter what you are seeking, whether you are seeking personal liberation or Buddhahood for all beings, no matter what, right? The basic framework of my teaching is compassion. This is so precious. Therefore, if somebody really respects the Buddha, the best way by which to make the Buddha happy is by practicing compassion. Anyone. Okay. The next one is the generosity of giving protection to others' lives. Okay, in this connection, say very recently again, there was, I think it came on the BBC, there was one boy, the whole place was flooded, and one very young boy, age I think maybe about 10 or 11, he saved about 17 people, 7 people's life. He was risking his own life, just such a young boy, aged 11 or 12. And then saving 17 people from the flood. Amazing. And then he was interviewed. And because the people are focusing so much on him, otherwise, when he was mixed with other people, somebody saved life, you cannot identify who that boy is. Because he's so normal. He doesn't, show, it's just so normal. This is amazing. Well, so the point is, this is giving protection to others' lives. Okay, in this connection, what I would suggest is try our best. Try our best and see that the mosquitoes, ants on the road, right? Say, if there are ants on the road, just be a little mindful that, okay, whether or not there are ants on the road, right? Okay. And particularly very, very outside, ants are there, So there, without just taking any note of what is there, we just try like this, walk like this. There's a tendency that we can kill so many ants and so many insects. Whereas just be a little mindful, okay, ants are there. And if it is a place where the people go so often and the ants are usually not around frequently there, then you can remove the ants, put the insect on a safe place. Whereas if it's on a muddy place where the ants are so often there, you cannot really remove them, it's just count as there. So at least from your side, if there is one place where the ants are more frequently moving, one particular place in the monastic universities, what they do is that they put the branch of a tree or the twig there, or some small pebbles, put there to indicate that there's some insects moving around that place. So people are warned. So they will make sure that they don't step on this, right? Okay. Whereas, so at least from your side, if this is what you can do, this is amazing. If not, at least from your side, just see how to skip stepping on the insects. Okay, this is one thing. Then another part is vegetarianism. Right? Okay, just see. I'm not saying that we have to be vegetarian after learn all these things, compassion and so forth, then being non-vegetarian, going to such an extreme, very aggressive version of, say, the converting people to vegetarian. I don't think this is also a wise thing. Right? People should happily embrace virtue, not by force. Right? This is so important. So the point is that if we are non-vegetarian, then okay, yes, that's very true. Okay, see if I can reduce the intake of the meat, reduce the intake of the meat. And then in some cases, some people, they do it in a very nice way. Say that, okay, the chicken and fish, because this is something solid, one life that I'm eating. So I'll stop these things first, right? Muttons and these things, okay, once in a while, but these things I'll stop. So they take some measures, not necessarily that you have to take the full measure right there, right? Okay, so some people they can do right away. Okay, there's no point nowadays. They have so many good food, they're very nutritious food available, so they take step right there. And some people they take steps, step by step. Both are correct, both are right. It's amazing, right? And even if you cannot change your diet, but at least you, okay, now the mosquitoes, right? Like this, killing like this. Instead of that, okay, I should use the automas, use the mosquito nets, and so forth to avoid the mosquitoes. That would be also wonderful. Okay, so this is one thing. And then finally, number fourth is the generosity of dharma, right? Okay, dharma. Within that, how I do is with the help of the dharma in 4 ways. So these are going more into the detail, right? Okay, I'm not going to go into detail at this moment. The 4, what the 4, I will mention what the 4 are. One is the dharma. So first, we have to teach how people to stop the miseries. Then, how to expand their happiness. Then, how to perfect in this quality. And then how to expedite this perfection. Do you see 4 things? What's the first one? How to stop miseries. Okay, how many of us here don't want miseries? All of us, right? So therefore, how to stop miseries, number 1. And how many of you want to expand your happiness? All of us. It doesn't matter whether you're Buddhist, non-Buddhist, whether you're believer or non-believer. Everybody wants to expand their happiness. Number 2. Number 3, how to gain perfection. How to gain perfection in these 2 areas. Remove your miseries and expanding your happiness. How to gain perfection, number 3. Number 4, how to expedite. How to expedite this perfection, achieving the perfection. Number 4. First, how to remove the miseries by teaching how to remove the negative actions. Right? Negative actions give rise to all the miseries. So we teach them. We teach. When you send the nectars and the lights from your nose, imagine that they transform in the form of the teachers who teach them how to stop the negative actions. Oh, don't engage negative actions, number 1. Number 2, you send the same thing in the form of, say, how to expand happiness. Expanding happiness by the practice of compassion. Practice of compassion, practice of bodhicitta. Right? Number 2. Then what is number 3? How to get the perfection. Perfection by the wisdom. The wisdom of emptiness. This will help you to perfect in these 2 areas of removing the miseries and expanding your happiness. The wisdom. Number 3. What is number 4? How to expedite this. So, okay, to expedite this is little out of what we should be speaking here, is about the Tantra. Practice of Tantra to expedite what we have of the first one, the getting rid of the miseries, then expanding your happiness by bodhicitta practice, and then the perfecting by the wisdom of emptiness, how to expedite these 3 things with the help of the Tantra. Okay, this is the step number 5. Step number 5, right? Okay. Okay, step number 5. What is step number 6?
The actual exchange of self.
Oh, what is step number 6 in the book? Okay, just see. Don't let us not just trust anybody else who says something else. Right? Okay. Actual exchange of self and others. Meaning that now, thus far, what we've learned is that, okay, cherishing oneself, I cherish myself, This is the cause of all my miseries. Cherishing others, it is the door to all happiness. Right? And then you practice that. You put them into practice. Point number 4 and 5. Now, therefore, now henceforth, I will cherish others more than myself. I actually exchanging myself for others. How to exchange? It is not that from today onwards I'll become you and you'll become me. This is not the meaning of exchange. Exchanging of the object of cherishing. Exchanging the object of cherishing. So far, I cherish myself rather than cherishing others. That is wrong. I'm suffering because of that. Right? So henceforth, instead of cherishing myself, I'll cherish others. So far, I've been being indifferent towards others. Now, I will exchange object of being indifferent. If I were to be indifferent towards someone, instead of being indifferent towards others, I'll be indifferent towards myself. Right? This is the commitment that you have to make. There's no special practice there. Mentally, you have to make a commitment. Okay, henceforth, I will exchange. I will cherish others more than myself. Instead of cherishing myself the way I used to do thus far, I will now exchange the object of cherishing by cherishing others. If I were to be indifferent towards someone, thus far I've been being indifferent towards others, henceforth I will be indifferent towards myself rather than others. Okay, make a very strong commitment, What's happening? Every time you are making commitment, it is like say, if there is a knot, you're getting it? If there is a knot, say you are in the middle of the bridge, and the bridge is hanging, tied on the two poles on the two sides, right? And the two poles, the bridge, the old style bridge, they are tied by the knots. Say there are 20 knots each, 20 knots there, 20 knots there. With these 20 knots, the bridge in between is being held, and you are in the middle of the bridge. And somebody from there is untying the knot, right? Okay, untie the first knot. Now you're dying. No, how many knots are there? 19 knots are there. Again, the second knot untied, right? It's the same. For you, there's no difference until the last knot is untied. You getting it? Likewise, the self-centered attitude, there's a knot within our mind. You could feel it, literally could feel it. The knot there, not which means that I don't want to cherish others. Not, right? Hey, no, cherish others. Oh yes, I have to cherish others. The moment you go to cherish others, inside it says no, right? Okay, how do you know this? It's very simple, right? Okay, after going away from Tibet House, what have you learned? Okay, tell me. Okay, Badriji, right? Say Badriji. Say you go over from here and then you meet your parents and hey, mere beta, what did you learn from Tibet House? And you say, I learned about the generosity, compassion, right? Okay, practice it from tomorrow. Yes. Okay, Badriji, tomorrow you give 10 rupees to the first beggar that you meet on the street. 10 rupees, yes, no problem, right? 10 rupees is fine. Okay, next day you found amazing. Now you give 100 rupees. Okay, right? Which is easier? 10 rupees, 100 rupees? 10 much easier. With 10 rupees, okay, you go like this. 100 rupees goes like this. Then your mother says, wow, my son, you're very amazing. You did a great job. Next time, you're going to give 2,000 rupees to the first beggar you meet. Now, okay. Next time, yes, I will do it. No, I learned from Tibet House, right? I'll do it. And then you meet the first beggar, then 2,000 rupees, right? Right? It's not coming out now. Or you made a promise, but it's not coming out. What your mind is saying? What? No. Okay, it's just one time. Okay, give it, and then we run away because you don't want to think again, right? And then your mother says, amazing, Badriji, right? Okay, next time it's 10,000 rupees. 10,000, right? Okay, yes. Oh, still I have another 24 hours, right? 20 hours to think, don't know what I'll say yes. Then the 24 hours, 19, 18, 10, 5, 2, 1, 10 minutes. Okay, you go out with the 10,000 rupees, right? Okay, the beggar comes, please give me, right? 10,000. No, right? No. Okay, look. So who is saying no? Your mind is saying no, right? What within your mind says no? Self-centered attitude is telling you no. So that's not there, not created by self-centered attitude. As we practice this like this, what happens? There are innumerable knots, self-centered attitude, knots of the self-centered attitude, right? Okay, every time you do this practice, one knot is untied, slowly, right? Then as if there are 1,000 knots, slowly then say the 100 knots are untied, 200 knots are untied, then the knot, overall knot becomes weaker. Overall self-centered attitude becomes weaker. This is amazing, right? Just try it. This is beautiful. And as the knots, self-centered attitude knots are becoming weaker, other cherishing, the knots of the other cherishing mind becomes stronger. And then when you feel like giving something, there's such a joy coming in you. When you feel like, when you don't get the opportunity to give something to others, you feel so much of pain. No, right? This amazing practice, amazing. Yeah, you just practice this. This is amazing. Okay, this is number 6. What is number 7? Special recollection of the kindness of others. Okay, now time up. Again, we could not finish the next 2 steps. Without this, the next time again new faces will come. Okay, what should we do now? We finish?
Yes.
Quickly finish this. Okay, tell me. Now, thus far, step 1 through to step 6, what we've learned is that I get the maximum benefit from cherishing others. I suffer the most by cherishing oneself. This is what we've learned, right? So from this, what we learned is others are so precious. Because from others, I get the maximum benefit. This is what we've learned. Now, step 7. Step 7 says, special recollection of the kindness of others. Again, thinking about the kindness of others. Why should we have to think of the kindness of others? We already thought about the kindness of others. From step 1 through to step 6, we have already thought about the kindness of others. Now, why do you have to think about the kindness of others? Okay, this is not the ordinary, way of thinking of the kindness of others. This is a special way of thinking of others, which ordinary people cannot think. Right? Okay. Would you say, okay, say if you give me 10 rupees, you say I'm desperately, even some people who are, well off, you have a very decent living, suddenly you enter in a very strange place where you have left your money, and the car broke, you're very thirsty, hungry, you have no money there, right? Okay, then you have to depend on the kindness of others. So somebody gives you, okay, demonetization. Okay, everybody understands it right there, right? Okay, so there I was trapped in Varanasi airport, right? Demonetization already declared. And what I've had is 500 rupees note. And at airport, there was the shopkeeper, a lady was there. And I asked for the cup noodles, right? Maggi noodles. and she opened the noodle, and she poured the hot water and gave it to me, and where's the money? I gave 500 rupees note. She said no. Right? I don't have anything, any other money other than 500 rupees note. And then she's not ready to accept it, and she already opened her thing. Right? If I leave it like this, she's going to suffer. Right? And if I take this, she's not going to take the 500 rupees. What can I do? What should I do? Should I run away or should I stay there? Okay. Then I told her, don't worry, you will have no problem. I will have problem. You will have a problem if you take the 500 rupees note. And this is also business for you. And you can deposit it in the bank. Right? If you don't believe in it, you check with your husband. So she checked, and the husband said, yes, accept the money. Okay, so for them, it was not a problem at that time. There was a span of time. But for the customers, there's a little problem. Okay, so if you're trapped in such a situation, right? Then if somebody gives you, say, 100 rupees note, is it kindness or not? Yes. Is this kindness which ordinary people can accept as kindness? Yes, ordinary people can understand that this is kindness. Now, there is another way of looking at kindness which the ordinary people never thought of. This is known as special recollection of the kindness. You getting it? This is so precious. Okay, finally, what do you want to become? You want to become like a sun. Yes, no? What are the two characteristics of the sun? What is besides the brightness, the wisdom, what is the second one?
Unbiased.
Unbiased compassion, reaching out to all sentient beings. To reach out to all sentient beings, you have to reach out to the near and dear ones, the neutral beings, and the enemies also, yes? Unless you're able to reach out to the enemies, you cannot reach out to everyone. You agree with me or not? So therefore, if you really want to become like a sun, what do you want to become? You want to become like a sun, or you want to become like a moon? Moon who can they show light only in the moon which can show light, give light only on the earth, right? Sun to all the 9 planets. Which do you want to become? Sun or moon? Huh? Okay, don't be too, okay, I should not be too ambitious. Okay, be ambitious, it doesn't matter. What do you want to become like? Become like a sun. If you want to become like a sun, you have to reach out to all the 9 planets, to all sentient beings, right? So which means that all sentient beings, among the sentient beings, there are 3 categories, yes, no? Near and dear ones, the neutral beings, and the enemies. So with the enemies, okay. So when I was first introduced to this concept, and not fully formally introduced yet, but I was so keen on this practice. I must be like 20 or 21. So then I learned all these steps, and then I was meditating. And then this comes, right? Okay, the kind of special recollection of all the sentient beings. Special recollection, right? Special recollection of the kindness of all the beings. What do you mean by all the beings? Okay, near and dear ones, neutral beings, and enemies. With the enemies, okay, there's one person who's very difficult, right? One person who's exceptionally difficult. I'm not going to disclose that. One person exceptionally difficult since I was a child, right? Just thought, okay, you have to practice compassion for all. No, with the exception of this person. My bodhicitta, with the exception of this person. Right? Okay, where is bodhicitta? This is not bodhicitta. If you say with the exception of this person, this is not bodhicitta. You're not like a sun. To a sun, cannot illuminate one planet, right? Sun illuminates every planet, every atom, right? So therefore, okay, this was a problem. Now, it's amazing. So that was because I did not get the opportunity, I did not get this lesson on how to practice, how to see the kindness of the enemies. You're getting it? Okay, now here we are learning how to see kindness. Why I was so there's a repulsion towards the enemies. Why? Because these enemies, instead of being kind, they have been very unkind to me. They harm me. Yes, no? Okay. Now you can think of how they're kind to you. This just unfolds all the secret of the happiness. It's amazing, right? Okay. Can you imagine? How can you think of the kindness of the neutral beings? Okay, the kindness of near and dear ones. This is fine. That we don't have to learn, right? Uncommon, or what is that? What is the word step? The step 7. Step 7. Special. This word special recollection, which means that ordinary people cannot do this. Meaning that ordinary people, they never thought about this. So therefore, it becomes special. A special recollection of the kindness of the neutral beings and the enemies. Okay, this is so important. The neutral beings. Okay, which do you want to do first? Neutral beings or the enemies? Huh? Okay, enemies. Wow. You want to do Buddha, you want to achieve Buddha directly, right? Okay, not long way, shortcut. Okay, let's say the neutral beings. This is so important, right? Okay, one analogy that I give is, okay, for example, say this pen. This pen. Okay, this pen, tell me, what's the price of this pen? What's the cost price of this pen? 10 rupees? I don't think so. It may be like 5 rupees. That's a 5 rupees. Now, you won't believe 2,000 years ago, 1,000 years ago, if somebody has this pen, the person becomes a source of envy for the rest of the people. You agree with me or not? Why? Even the kings and the queens, they did not have this pen. Even the kings and the queens, they have to use the feather, right? They have to soak the tip of the feather in the ink and write it. And what is written, there's unevenness in the writing, right? And again, you have to soak it there. It's very tedious work. With this, I don't have to soak it in the ink, right? And what I write is so uniform. Okay, but I get it for 5 rupees. Those kings and queens, if they do not have the privilege of using this pen. Tell me, what made me to have this pen just for 5 rupees? If I were to, okay, tell me, why we are getting this just for 5 rupees? Because of the mass production. You agree with me or not? Yes. If you agree with me, because of the mass production means what? What is mass? Mass means innumerable number. There are, if not billions, millions of people are using this pen, right? Because of these innumerable people, then you can get it very cheap. If I were to, with the same machine, if I were to buy this, if I were to produce this pen, it will minimum cost me millions of dollars. You're getting it? Because to produce pen, first of all, I need to get all these plastics. This plastic we got from the petroleum, right? And the petroleum, I need to have all these machines to take the petroleum from the sea or from the ground, whatever, right? Okay, this petroleum, this machine, very expensive. And then the machines they are made of metals. Metal I had to extract from the metal ore. Very expensive, right? And then the machine actually made in the form of the pen form. Very expensive machines. So just one pen, which I'm now getting for 5 rupees, you have to pay like billions of dollars. You agree with me? But why I'm getting it very cheap now is because of the mass production. What do you mean by mass production? So many people contribute 5 rupees, 5 rupees, 5 rupees, 5 rupees. It becomes like $5 billion. Right? And because of which I'm able to enjoy this. It's because of these people that I can enjoy this so easily. Do you know these people? Are you angry with these people? You're not angry, which means they're not the difficult people. And do you love these people? They are like your mother? No, you have no clue who they are. These are known as the neutral people. Because from the neutral people, we're getting this pen for 5 rupees. Delhi, so hot now 42 degrees centigrade. But here, we can enjoy these ACs. Even the kings and the queens, they did not have these ACs. They have the human, what? Huh? Human bunker, right? Okay, right? And they are not effective. They feel tired. Again, you have to feed them. Right? Okay, and then they will take leave. Again, you have to request someone else. But this AC will never take leave. Right? You put on the line, they will operate. And so cheap. In those days, only the kings and queens, they might have this, and very rich people might have the human fans. Otherwise, the rest of the people, even if they have, like, say, the little money that we have now, they cannot have, even the kings and queens, they do not have this. Right? So look at all these things, all these facilities are because of the mass production, and mass production means innumerable people are involved. These people are known as the neutral people. If you think like this, you see that, wow, it is their kindness that I'm getting the benefit. Right? So the moment you feel the benefit, when you feel that you're getting the benefit from somebody else, your mind flows towards that source of the benefit. That flow of the mind is known as love and affection. You're getting it? Okay. Now tell me, who displayed tremendous love towards your mother when you were 1 day old? Who displayed incredible, how many of you love your mother so much when you were 5 years old? Raise your hands. All of us, tell me, who amongst us displayed such an intense love towards your parents, towards your mother, as you had when you were 5 years old, when you were day 1 old? How many of you displayed that love and affection? That amount of love and affection when you were one day old? How many of you displayed that love and affection towards your mother? No one. Why not? Because you could not identify who this person is. Yes? How come that to someone to whom you do not have any love and affection, within the span of 3 or 4 years, you have developed such an intense love and affection towards his mother? How come that you're able to develop such an intense love and affection towards his mother? How come? What made you to have such love and affection towards his mother when you were age 3 or 5? Tell me. Anyone? Very quick.
She protected us as parents.
She protected. Very good. Anyone else? Oh, no experience. Oh, no. Please tell me.
Unconditional love.
Huh?
Unconditional.
Because you sense that this mother gives you unconditional love. And how did you know that when you were 5 years old? How do you know that your mother was giving you unconditional love? How? Your answer is correct, but tell me how.
No discrimination between the siblings.
Maybe you're a bodhisattva. If you're not a bodhisattva, okay, you must be a bodhisattva. Okay, others who are not bodhisattvas, tell me, what's the answer? What made you to have what made you feel the unconditional love from your mother? What made you feel that? Huh? Exactly. Because, what's your name?
Village.
Huh?
Village.
Okay. Elish, when 5 years old, maybe very little naughty. right? So Elish, I want a football, right? And you cry, I want football, otherwise I'm not going to go to school. Your neighbors will not buy you football. Only your mother and father buys you football. What do you want? The comfort that you want, the joy that you want, the toys that you want. You get all these from these two, your father and mother. So you see that they are the source of your benefit. You get it with me? When you feel that somebody is the source of your benefit, your mind flows towards that person. Flow your mind towards that person, your mind feeling close. Because mind is going close to that person, flowing towards the person. There's close. Feeling closeness known as love and affection. Right? Now, with the same logic, if you apply this to the neutral people, all these millions of people, because of which this mass production is possible, because of which that you are able to have the privilege of using this pen, which even the kings and the queens did not have. Likewise, the AC, likewise all the dress that we have, and all the house, and the traffic, all this privilege, the privileges that we're experiencing is all because of the innumerable people's involvement there. And these people are neutral. You don't know who they are. They're not harmful to you, and you also don't know who they are. They are known as neutral people, right? Okay, so when you realize that all this, otherwise, if you're born 2,000 years ago, if you're born at that point in Delhi, you're going to suffer terribly, right? Even if you are a prince or a princess, you suffer terribly because of this acute heat. But now, no, because of the kindness of the neutral people, right? So this is how we need to think. The more we think like this is a human side. This is the law of nature. The more we think about the benefit that you're getting from neutral people, more your mind will flow towards the neutral people. The more your mind flows towards neutral people, this is known as your mind becoming closer towards the neutral people. Feeling close is known as love and affection. Oh, I'm close to him. I'm close to her, which means that I love this person, right? So your love and affection flows towards the neutral people. Now the difficult people, I'm going to quickly wind this up, right? Difficult people, okay. Difficult people, okay, to be very quick. Okay, if you're given a choice, you want to become a world #1 legendary boxer, or you want to become just an ordinary boxer, very ordinary local boxer. Okay, if you're given choice, which do you want to become? Elish? Legendary boxer. Wow, you want to become a legendary boxer. Okay, if you want to become, and then the one behind, a legendary boxer. If you want to become a legendary boxer, imagine that you have to depend on the coach, yes? You need a coach. And if your mother is your coach, do you think that you will become a legendary boxer? Impossible. To become a legendary boxer, you need to know how to stop all the punches. Without getting the punches, you will never learn how to stop the punches. And your mother will never hit you hard. Your mother will just touch your face like this. This will never teach you how to stop the punches. You will never become a legendary boxer. Okay, who will make you a legendary boxer? Somebody who hits you hard, right? Who hits you hard? Enemies, right? Enemies are the ones who will make you legendary boxers. You're getting it? Likewise, which is more difficult to become? To become a legendary boxer or a Buddha? Buddha is much more difficult. So which means that we need much more enemies to help you make you become very strong to become a Buddha. So who are those people? Those people are your enemies. Your enemies they're actually not your enemies. They're actually the great opportunity. They are like the supporters. They are like the teachers. They are there to teach you, to guide you how to become a Buddha, right? So you are you are already Buddha inside. You are already Buddha inside. Why the Buddha is not coming out? Because of the mental stains. What mental stains? Self-centered attitude and self-grasping. Self-centered attitude, right? This self-centered attitude is mental stain, which stops you from manifesting as the Buddha. This self-centered attitude, who will identify this? Who will identify your weakness? Which is the weakness? Your mind glowing or your mind with the stain? Which is the weakness? Mind with the stain of this self-centered attitude. This is the weakness, right? Only when somebody identifies your weakness, you can get rid of the problem. Only when you know that you are suffering from tuberculosis, then you will look for medicines to remove the tuberculosis. If you think that I'm just coughing, it's not tuberculosis, it's just coughing, just a mere cough, you will never look for the tuberculosis, the medicines. When you do look for the medicines, the disease can kill you, right? So that the one who helps you to identify that you are suffering from tuberculosis is so kind to you. You agree with me or not? And who's that? Your doctors. Likewise, your enemies are like the doctors. Enemies tell you that you have a self-centered attitude inside. How do you know this? Right? Okay, you come to Tibet House, you learn about all these things, you go back, your mother says, what did you learn? Ilesh, what did you learn? Oh, I learned of compassion. Wonderful, my son, mere beta, bahut acha hua. Right there. Your mother is so happy. And you also feel so happy. Right? Which means that when you feel so happy, the self-centered attitude does not manifest. And suddenly, your neighbor, who is very unkind towards you, comes, hey Ilesh, where did you go? Tibet is not a stupid boy, right? The moment you say this, then how dare you say this? The self-centered attitude comes out. So he is the one who helps you to identify that you are still sick. You still have the illness inside. Your enemies help you identify that, not your mother, right? So the moment you identify this, it is like the doctor, right? So doctors are so kind. So therefore enemies are like doctors. Just as the doctors are the best person to identify all the worst of the physical illness and help you remove the illness, likewise the enemies are the best doctors to identify your mental illness and help you remove the mental illness. So with this, you remove the mental illness fully, you become a Buddha. Right? This is your ultimate agenda. I should be kind to myself. I should be wisely kind to myself. How? By removing all the mental dirts. Who help you remove all the mental dirts? Your enemies. So you see that your enemies are so kind because your enemies are the ones who help you to become Buddha. Right? Okay, because the enemies are the ones who help you to become a Buddha, they are so kind. When you feel their kindness, your mind flows towards them. When your mind flows towards them, this is known as love and affection towards the enemies. Now there is no enemies left now. Even the enemies become the best of your friends. So, near and dear ones are your near and dear ones. Even the neutral beings are so kind to you. Enemies are the kindest. Kindest. So now you say everyone is so kind to you. Everyone. Your mind loves everyone. So you become like the sun, which illuminates every atom of the universe, which allows you to reach out to all sentient beings. You're getting it? Okay, this is step number 7. Okay, now you love all the beings so much, but when you look at the world, right, after Tibet House, you go home, you practice this, you feel tremendous love and affection towards everyone equally. With this, then you look at the plight of situation. You look at you watch the television, BBC television, Syria problem, right? Now, what is happening between the Israel and Iran, right? Now, say, okay, peace talk bound to be happening between Trump and Kim Jong-un, right? Okay. And then so many problems, disaster, so many terrorism, all these problems are there, right? So these are the people whom I love so much and they're suffering terribly. Okay. So what should we do? Then your mind feels, when you see that your mother is suffering, what is your natural reaction? may you be free from suffering. This is known as compassion. Okay, with this compassion, likewise, when you see that all beings to whom you love so much, when you see that they are in terrible suffering state, natural reaction comes to your mind, may all beings be free from suffering. This is compassion. The next question, who is going to free the beings from suffering? Okay, this is a good question. My neighbor will do it, not me. No, I will do it. I will remove the suffering of all beings. So this is number 8. What is step number 8? Altruism, taking the responsibility of freeing all on your own shoulder to remove the pains, the suffering of all beings, and give them all happiness. Okay, amazing that you made such a courageous commitment. But how are you going to remove their pains? You can't remove the pain of yourself even. How can you remove the pains for all others? Oh, that's a good question. In this world, was there anyone who was successful in this matter? You explore. Then you realize that 2,500 years ago, there was one prince by the name Prince Siddhartha. Prince Siddhartha, who so successfully as a young prince, then he went in search of the path, and eventually he found the path, and he was able to achieve that potential. He was able to achieve that state where he was able to benefit all beings. How come that he's able to benefit all beings? Because he's endowed with 3 perfect qualities. Perfect love. Okay, first, perfect knowledge, perfect love, and a perfect power. That he's endowed with 3 perfect qualities. Anybody who's endowed with these 3 perfect qualities, the person has the capacity to benefit all. How? First, imagine that you have your physics exam and you go to your father, please teach me physics, or not physics, let's say science, right? Or let's say biology. After within 1 week, after a biology exam, and the father says, okay, I'm very sorry, when I'm in school, I always failed in biology. So, why your father could not help you? Tell me. Because he did not have the knowledge of biology. You getting it? So somebody to help you, the person must have perfect knowledge. 1. And the father says, don't worry, our next door neighbor is a biology professor. Then you go there, knock on the door, professor comes out, right? And say, hey girl, hey boy, what do you want? Oh, I have biology exam after 1 week. Please teach me biology. 5,000 rupees per hour, tuition fee. Can you pay 5,000 rupees per hour? Right? Terrible. It's a terrible fee. Right? You cannot. Even the professor cannot help you. Why? Is he lacking knowledge? No, he's lacking what? He's lacking love. So if you really want to benefit all beings, you should be perfect in knowledge plus perfect in love. Number 2. Okay. Then the father says, don't worry. Although your mother is not a professor in biology, but she was a topper in biology when she was in school. And then in the evening, your mother will come from the school. She's a teacher there. And the mother comes, you jump into the mother and tell the mother, please teach me biology. Now my exam is coming in 1 week. And the mother, please don't come close to me. I have a diarrhea problem. So she has perfect knowledge. She has a perfect love. But what is she lacking? Power. So therefore, if you are to really benefit everyone efficiently, you need to have these 3 qualities. Perfect knowledge, perfect love, and perfect power. Right? So, now it is your job that how can I benefit all beings? By perfecting in these 3 qualities the way Prince Siddhartha did it. So may I achieve these 3 qualities so that I can benefit all beings. This is known as Bodhicitta, which means that Bodhi means full awakening. How can you have these 3 qualities? When all your mental stains are gone, when the gold inside will glow fully, that is the time when you have perfected these 3 qualities. So that state where all the mental stains are gone and the potential inside comes out, manifests fully, that is the fully awakened state. This is known as the Buddha, right? So the desire, may I become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings, this is known as step number 9. What's step number 9? Bodhicitta. Okay, good. Wow, we are successful here completing that. Okay, we'll quickly do the direction prayer. Page 27. Okay. Okay, let's turn to page 279. Page 279, the third last paragraph. We'll read, third last stanza. We'll read from there. Page 279, third last stanza. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I attempt the mind of full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. I go for refuge to the Triple Gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. The path of union of happiness, emptiness and compassion is lucidly explained by the protector of both the Dharma and the beings of the snow land. You are the lotus holder of Tenzin Gyatso. We supplicate you that your wishes are fulfilled spontaneously. May the operations of evil thoughts and deeds of the negative forces of humans and non-humans who harbor malice through perverted prayers against the teachings of the Buddhas be totally vanquished through the power of the truth of the three jewels. In all my lives, never separated from perfect gurus, may enjoy the magnificent Dharma by completing the qualities of the stages and the paths, may quickly attain the state of Vajradhara. Throughout my future lifetimes, may I always be guided by Aramajishri and be able to uphold the Dharma in general and the teachings of dependent origination in particular, even at the cost of my life. Okay, so what we have actually studied, if we can practice them, on a daily basis, it's going to be so much of fun. Why? In the process, your mind, how the mind reacts and how you are stating the 9 steps. You are in line with the 9 steps and your mind, it says no all the time. It's so much of fun to see the clash between. And as you progress along this path, you see that your mind is becoming more and more calm, right? And a situation which can easily create so much of mental disturbance, you said that now they're all under control. And even other people will be fascinated by now, right? By now, say the Ilish, by now Ilish must be crazy now, right? Must have gone into the insanity in the rehabilitation center because mind gone. You go there, he's so calm, peaceful, right? You'll be so fascinated. You can see the change within, right? It's an amazing gift. This we will never get, even if you get it, even if you win $1 billion worth lottery, you will not get this happiness, right? Even if you get to whatever the world considers as the luckiest person, you will never experience this. This will come to us only through this practice. You practice this, you'll get it, and even if the billions of Buddhas, they come, just as Christ, Ram, Buddha, Mahavir, Prophet Muhammad, they all come together to bless you, touch your head like this, you will not experience this. Even billions of Buddhas, they come, touch your head, you will never experience this. Only you practice these steps, put your effort, you will see the magic happening. This is so precious. So therefore, in future, if you can really think of helping yourself and helping your family members to calm yourself down, this is the best gift that you can offer to all others, including your parents, including your family members, and everyone. Okay, thank you. Good night.